College football coaches need relief in a major way. The recruiting calendar needs relief in a major way. Is that going to be changing? Can the recruiting calendar change, and how will that affect Tennessee recruiting? And what are they going to say about Tennessee in 25 years from now? Got a good show coming up. It's your Thursday, Locked On Vols.
You are Locked On Vols, your daily podcast on the Tennessee Volunteers. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to Locked On Vols. I am Eric Kane. Appreciate you for making Locked On Vols your first listen every single day. Shout out everydayers, and shout out to FanDuel, where you can make every moment more over at FanDuel Sportsbook. It's America's #1 sportsbook. Got a fun show coming up today. A lot to get into. Recruiting changes to the calendar and how that can affect Tennessee. Coming up in a matter of moments. A really interesting question that I missed Denarius Moore. Shout out VolQuest.com, the Journal's Quarters. He asked on the VolQuest Mailbag podcast this week, and it was so good that I wanted to bring it on this show and spend time talking about it in segment number 2. The question was, 25 years from now, what are we going to say about this current era of Tennessee athletics? It's a pretty cool thing to think about. We'll get into that in segment number 2, and then a hoops recap, Tennessee and Auburn, in segment number 3. You can subscribe, follow us, download us, and listen to us for free anywhere you get your podcasts, and of course on Locked On Vols on the YouTube channel, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and literally wherever else you can find our show. All right, let's get into it. So, talk about it all the time here on this show, about how the month of December is so challenging for college coaches. I know Josh Heupel makes $9 million a year. Tough. Figure it out, right? I mean, that's what coaches are doing. But the month of December is so challenging right now for coaches. That's why you're seeing a lot of these coaches stepping down and going, from Georgia State to be the tight ends coach at South Carolina, or the offensive or the head coach at UCLA to be the offensive coordinator at Ohio State, or the head coach at Boston College to be the defensive coordinator for the Green Bay Packers, and so on and so forth, because coaches just want to deal with it anymore. Money's not everything. A lot of these coaches are starting to figure that out now. And so there needs to be some relief for these coaches. And the month of December is the worst month of the calendar year, because right now coaches are having to navigate, finishing off your season, preparation for either a conference championship, preparation for a bowl game, preparation for, whatever's coming next. You're having your current team taking finals. You are finishing off the recruiting class with signing day, the third Wednesday in December. You are currently actively recruiting your own roster, not just COVID seniors, but also your entire roster right now, because it's literally just year to year because of the name, image, and likeness era that we live in. And the transfer portal window opens, and you're doing all of that in the month of December while trying to get ready for either a conference championship, the college football playoffs, or a bowl game. Merry Christmas right in the middle of that as well. So there's just too much going on. According to Pete Thamel over at ESPN, he's reporting that the big-time college bigwigs, essentially, college football bigwigs, are meeting in Indianapolis this week, and one of the proposals that they are trying to talk about and discuss in order to help college football and the landscape that it's currently in right now would be having 3 different signing periods. Those 3 different signing periods would be, right now, the early national signing period is like that 3rd or 4th Wednesday of December. It's always like December 22nd, December 19th, somewhere around there. And then, of course, the first Wednesday of February, which used to be known as National Signing Day. The proposed change would be 3 national signing periods. It would be the last Wednesday in June, it would be the Wednesday following the regular season, and the first Wednesday in February. This would be really, really good for college football. This would be really, really good for college football coaches, and this would be really, really good for Tennessee, in my opinion. People were probably sitting there like, the one in February, it's still going to be obsolete. Hardly anybody's going to wait through 2 signing periods to sign on that 3rd, quote-unquote, National Signing Day. It's nothing anymore. It's absolutely nothing. Literally, there wasn't an ounce of momentum or anything for Tennessee this year on, quote-unquote, National Signing Day. It's an irrelevant day now in the college football calendar, really. I mean, 99% of your class is done in that early signing period. In Tennessee's case, is you're done by 10:30 in the morning on day one of early national signing period. So it's still going to be irrelevant that first Wednesday in February, the quote-unquote national signing day. But moving up the December signing day from, that third week of December all the way up to the first Wednesday after the regular season. So, for instance, in 2024, Tennessee plays its last game against Vanderbilt at Vanderbilt on November the 30th. That first Wednesday after the regular season would be December the 4th. So you would have National Signing Day on December the 4th. I still don't like it in terms of two teams from the SEC and from every conference is going to be preparing to play in a conference championship game that next Saturday. So that's obviously a bit of a of an obstacle you have to overcome. But it gets that in and out of the way before the transfer portal window opens. Because right now, in the last couple of cycles, every single weekend in December leading up until National Signing Day, you're bringing in prospects for official visits. And, you're trying to get all these guys in the transfer portal window to come in. And your coaches are stretched thin, trying to say, well, do I prioritize the class of 2024 high school, or do I prioritize these transfer portal guys because they can help me immediately next year? And how do I prioritize my time and give as much of myself to this group and to this group? Now you don't have to worry about that. They're not going to be overlaying anymore. They're not going to be overlapping. They're not going to be intertwined. And so I think that helps a lot. The signing period proposed on the last Wednesday of June makes so much sense for me. So much sense for me because with the current recruiting calendar, June is the busiest month of the year because you have official visits every weekend in June. 4 weekends, 4 official visit weekends where you kind of try to stagger them out and make it as easy on yourself as you can. But those last 2 weekends, because you want to get the last word. It's funny because in high school recruiting, obviously, a lot of times you want to be the last place they see, the last coaches they talk to. But in the transfer portal window, a lot of times the first impression's key, because they're not trying to drag this out and make this into what it was, because they've already gone through this process. But anyway, you'll still have those 4 weekends in June. Take this year's calendar as well. That weekend would have to open up on Memorial Day weekend, or I guess that'd be the week after Memorial Day. Anyway, it would have to open up on technically May the 31st, because that's a Friday, through Sunday, June the 2nd. You would have 4 weekends leading into that last Wednesday of June, the 26th. It makes the most sense because that is when you're going on these official visits. That is when you're seeing all these schools and taking all this time invested to go and find out where you want to go. And oftentimes, the blue chippers, okay, everybody's different, but a lot of times how it kind of works in this calendar that we're in right now, you go on these official visits and then you make your announcement in July. So if you make that the last Wednesday of June, man, that gets a huge chunk of it out of the way. Huge chunk of it out of the way. And if you go on to lose a couple of games you're not supposed to, you're not going to lose anybody because they're already locked in, signed a national letter of intent. I think it makes so much sense. So much sense. Now, again, I would be in favor of getting rid of anything in December. Okay, having one in August the 1st and then keeping the one in February. After or July 1st. Maybe the last Wednesday of June like they're proposed here. Have one after you go on that carousel of official visits. Sign if you want to sign. If not, you can sign in February, still go on recruiting visits and official visits in the fall. But I would just take it completely out of December. However, I think this is better than nothing because, again, you can go ahead and get a large chunk of your class signed, sealed, delivered before you even snap a football in the fall. Makes so much sense. For Tennessee, you're able to hold on to some recruits that you might have missed out on in recent years. Recent cycles. So many times in the summer months, you have so much momentum with so many blue chippers, but you might not be the last one they talk to, and they end up holding off until, October or September or late August, and they're going away and picking somebody else but Tennessee. I think this could really, really help, in my opinion. But more than anything, I think it alleviates some of that pressure on the coaches, and I think it will be better for everybody, and as an end result, maybe you won't see as many good college coaches leaving for the NFL. Also, amongst another topic that they're discussing in Indianapolis this week, still from Pete Thamel, they're going over exactly what should December be. Okay, so should December, if they do, even if they don't do the early, signing period in December, but they're talking about December being a dead period, meaning the entire month of December would allow coaches to focus on the postseason competition and retention of current student athletes. A December quiet period, essentially meaning you don't have to. It's almost a dead period as well, but it's not as strict. There's a little bit of access there. Contact period. You can extend the current December contact period through the weekend before Christmas Day. That would allow institutional flexibility to conduct on and off campus recruiting activities with high school and four-year college prospective student athletes. Or you can just open it up. They're talking about what to do with the month of December. But if you do make December a dead period, you would have signing day there on that first Wednesday after the regular season, which will be December the 4th in 2024. Then it's completely dead, but it allows your coaches to not have to worry about high school prospects, only focus on the transfer portal athletes. Again, prioritizing, just putting everything in its respective pile, essentially, is what this is doing. Because right now, it's a big old blender, and it's kind of like jack of all trades, master of none. That's kind of what the month of December is right now. So I'll be intrigued to see exactly if these changes take place. Don't think that it would affect the 2024 cycle. Likely would affect 2025, but I think this would be really big. I do think this would be really, really big for the University of Tennessee and for college football in the grand scheme of things. So December needs help. We've talked about it, and these are some solutions to help alleviate some of that pressure in the month of December. Courtesy of Pete Thamel, ESPN, as the bigwigs in college football are meeting in Indianapolis this week to discuss how to make December better with some proposed changes to the recruiting calendar. We'll see if anything comes of it. I would be intrigued and be excited if something did change. That is for sure. I mean, having a signing period in the summer makes so much sense in the world because that's when all the decisions are already made right now. I mean, that should 100% be on the docket for sure, regardless of what you do in December. One in the last Wednesday of June or in July or August, whatever. There needs to be something there before the high school football season starts and the college football season starts. Hey, when we come back, got a question for you. One that I want you to ponder over the break. 25 years from now, how are you going to describe this era of Tennessee athletics? More to come on that when we return right here on your Thursday Locked On Vols. Passion, drive, patience. What brings home the winning trophy is also what keeps your ride or die alive. eBay Motors has everything you need to maintain your vehicle, leveled up to peak performance from superchargers, roof rack, exhaust kits, LED headlights. Whether you're into speed, power, or style, eBay Motors has got you covered. With over 122 million parts to choose from for your number one ride or die, you're always going to get exactly what you're looking for. And with eBay's Guaranteed Fit, your part is guaranteed to fit your ride every time or your money is back. Because with eBay Motors, you're burning rubber, not cash. With all the parts you need at the prices you want, it's easy to turn your car into the MVP and bring home that win. Keep your ride or die alive today at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only, exclusions apply. eBay Guaranteed Fit only available to U.S. customers. More to come on Locked On Vols when we return here on a Thursday. All right. So the question that I've been proposing for you, and again, shout out to Ms. Daenerys Moore. This is on the VolQuest Mailbag Podcast, and I thought it was good, so I wanted to bring it on the show here today. Before we get into our hoops recap, Tennessee and Auburn in segment number 3. 25 years from now, how would you describe this era of Tennessee athletics? Maybe it can be a 5-year span. Maybe it can be a 10-year span. Whatever your definition of this era of Tennessee athletics is, how would you describe it? Ponder on it a second while I take a sip of my coffee here. A couple of things come to mind. Number one, battle. Feels like Tennessee's battling everybody. Tennessee's battling the world. Tennessee's battling the NCAA. Tennessee's fighting everybody because Tennessee broke the rules. Jeremy Pruitt and his regime broke the rules. Tennessee fired its head coach. Tennessee was under NCAA investigation. Tennessee went and did a bunch of different things to try and kind of cut ties with Jeremy Pruitt and start over. So there was a long NCAA investigation, a cloud over your program, and then a couple of years later, you're there again, but you take it to a legal proceedings, and you're fighting the NCAA, not just for Tennessee, but also really for all of college athletics in terms of name, image, and likeness. So I think NCAA cloud. I think court. I think a battle. That's something that I would think about. But really, when I think about this era of Tennessee athletics, kind of starts with Danny White. I think he's a heck of an athletics director. I do. He made the right football hire. He inherited a really good basketball coach. He inherited a Lady Vols basketball coach. He inherited a baseball coach that's really good. And he inherited a Hall of Fame softball coach. So a lot of what he has here right now, he inherited. I recognize that. It's annoying to me at times, but fundraising, he makes money. He knows how to do the job. Renovations, plans, bringing better facilities to the University of Tennessee, that is something that I'm going to remember from this era. Renovations to Neyland Stadium, renovations to Lindsey Nelson Stadium, renovations to the Anderson Training Facility. That's something that's happening during this era and something that's going to be lasting 4 and 25 years from now when I go back on campus. I'll see them, and they're still going to be there. So that's something that I'm going to remember, and I attribute that in large part to a lot of what Danny White's done. Let's get into individual sports, shall we? Football. Boy, the highs and the lows. The lows of the 15 years. When you hit rock bottom, as I mentioned a moment ago about Jeremy Pruitt, his regime, firing, getting in front of God and everybody, and Donnie Plowman saying, we broke the rules, and we broke them bad. And this is what we're going to do. There was a strategy there. It paid off. It paid off, but that was rock bottom. That was the lowest of the low. And then look, you got Josh Heupel. You hire Danny White. He strikes out on a bunch of different guys that he wants. I don't care what he says on Twitter to Elliott's, whatever his name is over at Virginia. Josh Heupel was not his first pick, but he went to where he came from, a guy that he hired at UCF, brought him to Tennessee, and at the time there were some mixed reviews. 7-5 regular season, year number 1. 11-2 overall record, year number 2. Orange Bowl victory, 9-4 with a Citrus Bowl win in year number 3. There's been a lot of good football here in this era of Tennessee athletics. This offense that's been fun to watch. Quarterbacks that's been fun to watch. One of the best run games in the nation over the course of the past 3 seasons. It's been fun to watch. Football's on its way. Basketball will never have sustained success, nor will it ever recruit to the high-level caliber that it is right now. I've said that several times with Rick Barnes. I understand, and to be continued, we will see what happens in the month of March. But Tennessee's not made that deep run yet with Rick Barnes. It's been one of the best regular season teams in the country. Stability from a culture standpoint, from an entertainment standpoint, from a statistical standpoint. Tennessee basketball has been the cream of the crop under Rick Barnes here at Tennessee. It's never going to get better in terms of a stabilizing presence, consistency. You know exactly what you're going to get from a Rick Barnes coach team, but then you add a player in there like Dalton Knecht and watch it go. You added a player in there like Dalton Knecht and see how it improves a guy like Zakai Ziegler, Jonas Adu, Tobey Awaka. See how it takes a lot off the plate of Santiago Vescovi, Josiah Jordan-James. And you see the way this team looks. Sooner or later, college basketball is like the NBA, the best team wins. You play a best of a 5 or 7 game series, the best team is going to win. College basketball is not like that. If you have an off night, you're done. But sooner or later, the good teams will prevail, right? I'm intrigued to see what this March looks like. Lady Vol basketball, you'll look back and you'll think disappointment. And that is a fair, and that is an accurate, and that is might be a little harsh, but it's reality. You will look back at this era of Lady Vol basketball and you will say, my, how the mighty have fallen. And I mean, I'm rooting for Kelly Harper to turn it around. I'm rooting for Tennessee to go on a run. I know that she's had to go uphill in a lot of different directions through her time here at Tennessee with injuries and situations outside of her control. But right now, you'll look at this era of Lady Vol basketball, and it's a major disappointment compared to where it should be. Look at baseball. How in the world could it get any better, right? Well, maybe winning a national championship. I hear you. But 2 of the last 3 years, you've gone to the College World Series. Last year, you won a game in Omaha for the first time in 22, 21 years, whatever it is. You built your team like the Atlanta Braves did, winning 14 straight divisional titles on pitching and on the arms. And look how far it's gotten you. Tennessee baseball is fantastic right now. from a recruiting and from a developmental standpoint under Tony Vitello, Frank Anderson, Josh Elander. You're going to look back on this era of Tennessee baseball and say, man, what a show, what a ride. Because if Tony leaves at some point in time, you're not going to have seasons like this on a consistent level. And then you look at softball. Haven't won a World Series in quite some time, but you did go to the World Series this past year. You are contending for SEC championships. Maybe you're taking a slight step back, but you're still of national significance. So my point is, collectively, those are, football and men's basketball, the revenue sports, lady ball, baseball, softball, non-revenue, and I didn't even get into track and field, swimming and diving and all that. But you look back, it's a collection of these sports programs in this era, we'll call it 5-7 years, and it's pretty daggone good. It's hard to get better, in my opinion. As Tennessee fans, we're spoiled. Really are. But at some point, championships have to matter. Tennessee baseball won a couple SEC titles, tournament and regular season. Tennessee basketball won a couple SEC titles, tournament and SEC regular season champs. Sure, that's happened. Lady Vols haven't sniffed that in quite some time. Softball's won a couple, I believe, in the last 5 to 7 years, whether it be a tournament or regular season. Football hasn't. Football hasn't sniffed it. At some point, though, I do believe championships have got to matter. Could that be football, sneaking into the 12-team playoff and going on a run at some point in time in the near future? I hope so. Could it be this March with men's basketball? They've got the team to do it. Could it be Lady Vols basketball after a rebound at some point in time? I hope so. Could it be baseball? Again, questions got to be answered, but midway through the SEC slate last year, Tennessee was 5-10. Just goes to show you, if you build your roster the right way, things can change in a hurry. Look at Ole Miss in 2022 as well. They were going to fire their coach, won the College World Series. Could Tennessee baseball go and win a national championship this year? Could Lady Vols softball go and win a national championship this year? I don't know. At some point, though, I do believe championships got to matter. Okay? It's been fun. It's been awesome. You hope that one of these programs can bring home a national championship. But in 25 years, in the year 2049, I'm going to look back and say, man, Tennessee athletics was hopping. Tennessee athletics was in a great, healthy state. And I hope that in 2049 I can look back and say, yeah, remember that national championship, Tennessee baseball 2024? Whew, what a ride. Remember that national championship, Tennessee football 2026? Man, that was a blast. 2025, Nico will be gone in 26. Hopefully, if all goes according to plan. Boy, what a ride. We don't have to say 1998 anymore. If we can look back in 2049 and say, man, those are some rough years for Lady Vol basketball, but I'm glad they rebounded. They're one of the premier. It's parodies all over the place now. I recognize that, especially in that sport. But it'd be great in 2049 if you can look back and say, boy, those were some dark times, but I'm glad they're back to where they need to be, Lady Vol basketball, being a premier championship contender year in and year out. We'll see. Things are good right now, but what would you say? Years 2049, how would you describe Tennessee athletics, this era of Tennessee athletics? That's the question for you. Love to hear your response at _Kane or at Locked On Vols, and of course on the Locked On Vols YouTube channel. Hey, when we come back, get a recap Tennessee and Auburn from last night at the Food City Center. That's coming up next right here on Locked On Vols. Get buckets with your first bet on FanDuel. It's America's #1 sportsbook. Right now, new customers can get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 bet. That is $150 if your bet wins. You can bet on all your favorite NBA players, all your favorite NBA teams with quick bets, live, same-game parlays, exclusive props, and so much more. We love the totals. We like to play the overs here on Locked On Vols because it's fun, but not just in the NBA. College basketball season. Baseball season started right now. Major League Baseball, spring training is upon us. Put some coin in your pocket, have a rooting interest in the game, and win some money over at FanDuel Sportsbook. Just visit FanDuel.com/lockedon to shoot your shot today. One more time, that is FanDuel.com/lockedon to shoot your shot. FanDuel, the official sportsbook partner of the NBA. Tennessee Auburn recap from Hoops last night. It's coming up next. I mean, good Lord. Dalton Knecht does it again. I kept on saying, hey, we're going to recap the basketball game. We're going to recap Tennessee and Auburn in segment number 3. It's because I recorded the first 2 segments before the game. Goodness gracious, Dalton Knecht. He just continues to put up that resume. I'm in a group chat. I'm in a group chat. One of those guys that's in that chat, watches the show every single day, so he'll think this is funny. I'm in a group chat, group of strangers really coming together for a wedding one time. So it's like a groomsmen group chat, and a lot of Big East love in that group chat from a lot of these guys in there. And we're texting there last night and talking about Dalton Knecht's game against Auburn, and they're just like, 20 guys could do that from the Big East. I mean, it's nothing. Talking about how Dalton Knecht should be in consideration for National Player of the Year, and saying, "Oh, there's no chance he'll win it." Ha ha emoji. I mean, it's like SEC bias, though. It's like old ACC basketball bias as well. I mean, there's a real bias there for the Big East basketball, and I recognize that. But anybody that's not seeing the brilliance of Dalton Knecht this season, doesn't know basketball, is not watching the games, not paying attention, living under a rock, doesn't have Wi-Fi. I mean, whatever the case may be, because what Dalton Knecht is doing right now is truly incredible. And again, Tennessee beat Auburn. That is a really good win for Tennessee, but the story, once again, is Dalton Knecht. What he's doing on a night-in, night-out basis. Something that's not been here at Tennessee since, Grant Williams. And even from a scoring perspective, Grant didn't do it at this clip. Chris Lofton comes to mind back when I was a kid. I know there's been good scores since then. I recognize that. But the ability just to go and hunt your basket and get your basket. Tennessee loses this game a season ago. Tennessee loses this game 2 years ago. But in the second half, Zakai Ziegler's dribbling the ball around, taking some time off that shot clock. He's getting it to Dalton Knecht, and Dalton Knecht's going to score. Everybody's looking to get it to Dalton Knecht. They're triple teaming Dalton Knecht. They are bear hugging Dalton Knecht, is Auburn, just to try to get him to slow down. What a performance for Dalton Knecht in Tennessee's 92-84 victory at Thompson-Boling Arena at the Food City Center on Wednesday night. Tennessee check number 1 in this 4-game swing to end the regular season. Number 11 Auburn, the 5th best defensive efficiency rating defense in the nation, got torched for 92 points. Didn't have an answer for Dalton Knecht. A 39 spot for Dalton Knecht. 39 points. 12 of 21 from the field. 5 of 8 from downtown. 10 of 12 from the charity stripe. 2 rebounds, 1 turnover. 27 of his 39 points came in the second half. And more importantly, if you want to get down into it more in specifics, Auburn led with 8. Auburn led by 8 with 12:17 left to go in this basketball game. And if you're watching on YouTube, I'm going to share my screen. Look at this. Auburn led by 8 with 12:17 left in the basketball game. And then Dalton Knecht just took over. Made three-point jumper by Dalton Knecht. Made dunk by Dalton Knecht. Made free throw by Dalton Knecht. Made three-pointer by Dalton Knecht, won by Zakai Ziegler. Made jumper by Dalton Knecht. Free throw by Ziegler. Made three-pointer by Dalton Knecht. Made dunk by Dalton Knecht. Made free throw by Dalton Knecht. Made layup by Dalton Knecht. Made layup by Adu. Free throw, Zakai Ziegler. Made layup by Dalton Knecht. Incredible. Just took over. A performance for the ages. His 6th 30-point game of the season is Dalton Knecht. Incredible. And it's just one of those things that we're just sitting here continuously just kind of shaking our heads and saying, does this surprise us? No, it does not, because we've seen it so many times. I mean, you go to utsports.com, you look at a scoring page here, and I'm not going to show you, but I'm just going to tell you. And I mean, you just go look at his points, just go down his season, what he scored game in, game out on the season. 17, 24, 18, 17, 16, 13, 37, 10, 21, 7, 2, 6, 18, 8, 28, 36, 39, 25, 32, 31, 16, 27, 22, 22, 14, 17, 24, 39. If that doesn't scream SEC Player of the Year, I mean, what the heck does? If that doesn't scream considerable nomination, considerable discussion for National Player of the Year, then I simply don't know what does. More than that, because of the effort from Dalton Knecht, Tennessee has now won 12 straight home games against AP-ranked teams. 12 straight home games against AP-ranked teams. That's the longest home winning streak against AP top 25 teams in SEC history. Tennessee doesn't lose at home. Tennessee doesn't make a habit of losing at home. And they didn't lose to Auburn at home on Wednesday night. I mean, again, Auburn led by 8 with 12-17 to go. Dalton Knecht took over. Again, the three-pointer cut it to 5. A three-pointer cut it to 3. A three-pointer cut it to 2. These are, this is Knecht scoring. This is not back-to-back-to-back possessions. A free throw cut it to 3. A free throw cut it to 2. A jumper gave Tennessee a 2-point lead. A three-pointer gave Tennessee a 3-point lead. A three-pointer gave Tennessee a 4-point lead. A three-pointer or a free throw gave Tennessee a 3-point lead. A three-pointer gave Tennessee a 5-point lead. I mean, it was miraculous. And again, we continue to see this. It was not the best starts of the second half for Tennessee. Tennessee came out of the gates a little sluggish there in the second half. Again, we're down by 8 with 12 and change to go in that second half before Dalton Knecht took over. I'll tell you what, in the first half, that was Akai Ziegler's worst first half, maybe back before the Missouri game. I mean, Akai Ziegler did not play well in the first half. 5 points, 1 of 5 shooting, 3 rebounds, 5 assists. That was good, but 4 turnovers. 4 turnovers for the game, 4 turnovers in the first half. He really got in gear in the second half. Not his best game overall, but still finished with 17 points. It's Akai Ziegler. 39 spot from Dalton Knecht. 14 and 7 for Jonas Adu. 9 points for Toby Awaka. 5 rebounds. Again, what more can you say? Santiago Vespi took 2 shots. Literally took 2 shots on the night. One of which was his layup that he made with less than a minute to go, and Dalton Knecht just chunked up a prayer and didn't hit anything but the backboard, and Santiago Vespi was there just to put it back in. Tennessee wins the rebounding battle 37-20. Tennessee won the offensive rebounding rally 10-9. Tennessee scored 7 second chance points. Tennessee was outscored 30-28 in the paint, so that was pretty much even. Tennessee assisted on 13 of the 28 made field goals and held the lead for 31 minutes in this basketball game. Auburn got the lead for 5:27, but Dalton Knecht made sure that was short-lived. I mean, again, what more can you say about what Dalton Knecht has done for this Tennessee basketball team? Important to get this win at home again because you go on the road. Number 1 versus number 1, the bragging rights for who's going to remain at number 1 in the SEC. That's coming up on Saturday night. And so winning this game on a Wednesday kept that alive for the Big Orange heading to Tuscaloosa. In postgame, Bruce Pearl was asked about who he's going to vote for SEC Player of the Year. He said, quote, "I vote for the best player on the best team. If Tennessee wins the league, I'll vote for Dalton Knecht. If Alabama wins the league, I'll vote for Mark Sears." Angry much because you just lost? I didn't see the video. I didn't see the quote. I certainly understand what he's saying behind this. The best player on the best team in the league deserves the honor. But dude just torched your butt for 39 points in a massive game in February in Southeastern Conference play. Give the man his flowers. Give the man his flowers, Bruce Pearl. Goodness gracious. Oh my gosh, what a game. 92-84. What a good basketball day. You tip your cap to Auburn as well. Scored 84 points. Tennessee's got the second best defensive team in the nation, according to Ken Palm. Auburn's got the 5th. Tennessee put up 92 points on Auburn. Auburn put up 84 points on Tennessee. Tip your cap to these two ball clubs. What a game. What a good scoring first half. Tennessee led 44-40 at halftime. Tennessee was down 23 to, I want to say, 9. Being outscored in the second, or maybe 11 being outscored in the second half at one point, but ended up outscoring Auburn 48-44 in the second half. Again, Tennessee into the game, making 4 of the last 5 buckets. The run, it was when Dalton Knecht took over at the 12-17 mark of the second half, and Tennessee never looked back. Savor this. He's one and done here at Tennessee. He's a 5th-year player. One and done here at Tennessee, courtesy of the transfer portal. He's going to be a lottery pick. He's going to be SEC Player of the Year, and he damn might be National Player of the Year after last night. I mean, goodness gracious. But again, this is nothing new for Tennessee fans. We've seen this from Dalton Knecht so far this year. What a win, setting the stage for Tennessee at Alabama. And that'll come up the late one on Saturday night in Tuscaloosa. We will preview that game and a whole lot more on tomorrow's Locked On Vols. What a win for Tennessee. Appreciate you guys for being here, having the conversation 25 years from now, and of course, recruiting. The calendar might be changing. Appreciate you guys for hanging out. We'll talk tomorrow and get you set for the weekend, another big basketball weekend that's coming up here on your Friday Locked On Vols. Until then, stay safe, everybody.